So in this session, we will see about service connection, right? So what do you mean by a service connection? A service connection is nothing but connecting between Azure DevOps and any other tools which is available. Okay, so how do this Azure DevOps is getting connected to an external third-party tool? In this case, we are going to take an example of Azure Cloud. Okay, so what we are going to do is like we need to connect between Azure DevOps and Azure Cloud with the help of this service connection. So what we have to go is like we have to go to Azure DevOps, and inside Azure DevOps we have to go to Azure AD, which is Azure Active Directory, and inside Azure Active Directory we have to create an new application registration. So this application registration should be the name of this Azure DevOps. You have to give this name of Azure DevOps in an application registration, and once after we create it, this application registration will give us many outputs such as tenant ID and client ID, subscription ID, and client secret. So we need these four things to go and then feed it into this Azure DevOps, and then we will check the connectivity between Azure DevOps and Azure Cloud, right? So let's start doing it, and then we will see what are the results, right? So what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to go to this Azure DevOps, and this project you might be aware of, which we have just created some time back, and I'm just going to go to this project settings. Under project settings, you will have an option called as service connections. So this is my service connection. Under service connection, you can see there is no service connection, so I'm just going to create a service connection, and here we have to choose this Azure Resource Manager, and we have to choose a manual mode. Once after you choose a manual mode, you click on next, and here we have an option for subscription ID, subscription name, principal ID, which is nothing but your client ID, and client secret key, and then a tenant ID. So we have to get all these details from Azure AD, and then we have to click on verify, and then the connectivity between Azure DevOps and Azure will be successful. So once after you click on verify, it should show us succeeded, right? So now what we are going to do is like we are going to Azure. This is my personal Azure. So inside Azure, I'm just going to Active Directory. So Azure AD, and under Azure AD, I'm just going to this app registrations. Under app registrations, I'm just going to click on new registrations, and here I'm just clicking Azure DevOps as a name of this, and I'm just having only single tenant, so I'm just clicking on this, and the name or the website name is https dev.azure.com/ so this is my organization name. So where can we get it? We can get this from here, right? So just copy this and then paste it over here. This will be the same thing, and then I'm clicking on register. Once after you register it, you will be able to get all these details. The client ID, so client ID is nothing but your principal ID, so just copy this and go and paste it over here, and tenant ID, copy this and paste it over here. So what we need except else is like subscription ID and subscription name. So if you don't have a subscription ID and subscription name over here, so just click on the search button and go to subscriptions, and under subscriptions you will be able to see the subscription ID and the subscription name. So let's copy that from here. Just give a moment. Okay, so this is my subscription name, so I'm copying the subscription name and I'm pasting it over here. Just make sure there is no spaces in the front and the last, and this is my subscription ID. Copy this and paste it over here. The one thing which is missing for me is a principal key, which is nothing but my client secret key. So again, I'm going back to the app registrations. Under app registrations, go to the certificates and secrets, and then click on this new client secret and give the name and click on add. Once after you add it, click on this is the secret. I'm just going to copy the value and then I'm going to paste it. So now I got all the details that I needed for the service connection, and then I'm just giving the service connection name and I'm granting access to all the permissions. And when I click on verify, it's failed. Why? Because this does not have any authorization. It says forbidden and authorization failed. So what does that mean? Which means even though when you create this, okay, you just need to give this permissions to the subscription. So I'm copying this application name and I'm going to the subscription, and then you have to go to IAM, Identity and Access Management, and then click on add role assignments, and then you have to give a proper permissions for it. So I'm just giving a contributor permission for this particular application. Select the members, and what is my application name? My application name is Azure DevOps. So click on this, select, review and assign, and then once the role is assigned, then the permission, okay, now if you see role assigned, now I'm going back here. When I click on verify, now verification is succeeded, right? So when you get that error, try to check what is the error. If it is permission denied error or if there is any forbidden error, then try to give a respective permissions for that service connection, and then you will be able to get this green color symbol, which is verification succeeded. Now click on verify and save. So the connectivity between Azure DevOps and Azure Cloud is established, right? So if you face any issues or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you guys. Thank you.